today I would like to talk to you about essence. Essence. It's a very important topic. Now, there's different words for this. One of my first magical teachers used to call it proto matter. Some people call it substance. It's the spiritual universal substance that is in back of everything that exists. So it's the essence of whatever anything is that we're discussing. So when you see these like cartoons or animated pictures or even fantasy films about witches or fairies or magical beings creating something, you always see this magic dust, right? You always see magic dust kind of going, whoosh, and then the thing forms itself. And there's a wisdom back of that. There's a wisdom back of that because everything that we have in physical form has a spiritual source. It has an essence, and there's a place at which the spiritual essence of something becomes physicalized, becomes crystallized into matter, and that is how manifestation occurs. Now, of course, in the way manifestation occurs in our lives, it doesn't necessarily happen like it does in the movies where a wand is waved and then some magic dust happens and then things appear in a puff of smoke. But that puff of smoke also is a depiction of what we're talking about with the essence or the substance of something. So it's important to recognize that spirit is the highest form of matter, and matter is the densest form of spirit. They are together. Yes, the ether or the aether, exactly. So when we're dealing with the essence of any topic, we are dealing with its spiritual source, its spiritual core. And if we can work with anything at its essence, then we speed up and we speed up its manifestation, and we make certain that its manifestation is real. So when we're dealing with something like prosperity, and specifically, it's important to recognize that our minds, our thoughts about something are where the spiritual essence of that thing originates. So let's say that again. Our thoughts about something are where the spiritual essence of that thing originates. And so the clearer we become on our thinking and the more trained we become in our thinking, the more expedient are the results, because that spiritual essence is very well defined. So when we are working on any kind of magic, but we're dealing with prosperity magic today, we want to recognize that we want to be definite about what we desire without becoming obsessed with form. So it's kind of dichotomous in a way, because we have to be able to be very definite about what we want, so that our minds are anchored very clearly, so that the spiritual essence of that thing is not confused when it comes into being. It comes into being quickly and efficiently. But at the same time, if we are focused on form rather than essence, then we actually delay our results. So this is what I mean by that. Here's an example. So let's say I know that I need to get a particular bill paid, and the bill is a specific amount of money. I can be definite about that bill getting paid without being specific about the channel through which that money comes, or even sometimes the ultimate amount of that money coming. Right? The essence of that desire isn't so much, say the bill was, I don't know, $1,200, and I had to come up with $1,200 to pay this bill. And so I could, start to work with the essence by considering $1,200 and pulling $1,200 in. But that's actually very limiting. That's very limiting, and it's not a very prosperous way of thinking. A more prosperous way of thinking is thinking of the essence of having that need met, having that need fulfilled, having that bill paid. right? So rather than thinking about the money that I need to pay the bill, I think about the bill being paid in full. And you can think of that bill. And a lot of times when people think of paying their bills, they think in terms of banishing some sort of debt, banishing some sort of expense. But if you don't think of it that way, if you think of it in terms of paying that expense in a joyful way as a creative experience, isn't it fun, that I get to pay this bill? Because why did you have that bill in the first place? Probably because you got something. Probably because there was some sort of good or service or even a taxation of a good or service, something that's caused that bill to come into existence. So you can pay that bill with joy, knowing that whatever you received from that bill you're enjoying, and now you're so glad and that you're able to pay that bill, right? So the essence of that bill then is paid with joy rather than banishing some debt. Right? Or thinking $1,200. No, there's nothing wrong with thinking $1,200. You can do that, but it's much, much more expedient to think of the essence of what exactly we want. We don't want $1,200. We want $1,200 in order to have a bill paid. Right? So we go right for the essence of what we want. And that way we are linking our thoughts with the substance of what we truly want. And it's much more expedient and powerful when we get that taken care of. Same thing with a car. So you want a new car. That's very prosperous to have a new car. So you wanted a car that's, energy efficient, that's good for the environment, that's got that wonderful new car smell, that's, maybe that takes you where you want to go, that in style, in something nice and wonderful, right? That's good for everything. Now, there's nothing wrong with getting a picture of the exact car that you want and thinking in terms of that and visualizing that. People do that with things like vision boards and things like that. But they're not thinking of the essence of what they want. They're thinking of the form of what they want. And you can do that, and oftentimes you will get some decent results, but you're not getting that fairy dust. You're not getting that magic dust stirred up. The way that you get that magic dust stirred up is you think, what is the essence? What is the essence of why I want this car? Well, you want style. You want beauty. You want to be transported. You want to be able to go where you want to go when you want to go. There, you want to have your transportation be something that's fun and fabulous and brand new for you and feel opulent and wonderful. It looks a lot like this car. This car is a great symbol for that. The picture of the car that you have on your vision board, you can still have that vision. It looks like this, and I want this or something even better. Because what I want is the essence of this. So you're gonna think about what you're doing with this car and why you want this car and what this car is gonna give you, not just the car itself. Because the car all by itself doesn't have much magic dust in it, but the essence of why you want the car has tons of magic dust in it. Right? So the same thing with, say you want to raise. Say you want to raise in pay. Say you want a decent amount of money. Say a raise from your job or maybe from a second source of income or something like that. Say, well, there's nothing wrong with thinking about what do you want? What do you want? Well, I want, 10, 15% raise. I want a 20% raise. I want more money. And this is why I want it. I want money so that I can do this. I want money so I can do that. So you can think in terms of the form. You can think, I want this amount of money. I want to raise, and we do magic like that. Like in the money and prosperity magic, we do talk like that. But when you get down to it, there's not a lot of magic dust in 10% raise or 20% raise or whatever it is. There's not, because there's no real essence there. There's nothing to get that excited about. We think we can get excited about money, but it's not money that we're excited about. It's what we want the money for. Right? So why do you want the money? So you can still have the goal of having a 20% raise or whatever it is in your income, but we don't use that as our essence. We go into why we want the money, what we're going to do with the money, what the essence of our desire is. And then the magic dust starts to fly all over the place. You can see sparks in the air once you start working with the essence. And then you can see that thing starts to manifest much, much more quickly. And you say things like, I want this form or something even better. I want this form or something even better. Right? And so that way you're not anchored to a form, you're anchored to the essence, and you're giving it permission to change according to divine wisdom, right? So if you want to get things through magic, you got to think in terms of how to be magical. Okay? And the way to be magical is to get that magic dust going. It's to really find that essence. It's to really find the essential qualities of what it is that you want. Very similar to what we do when we're dealing with, like, say, psalm magic. When we have a psalm and it says, to praise God, well, we know what that means. It means to think in terms of the qualities of God, right? And not so much the deity name and the deity's culture and the deity's this and the deity's that. That's all fine to do. There's nothing wrong with working with deities, and we'll do a different lecture on that. It's fine to work with deities, but it's the essence of what that deity brings that is magical, not what the old cult of that deity used to be all about, and what the gifts of that deity were given, and what the sacrifices that were made for that deity. Those are not as important. Those don't even really apply anymore. But what is it that deity brings to you? There's magic. There's big magic, right? So we think in terms of infinite intelligence. We think in terms of infinite love. We think in terms of infinite beauty. We think in terms of of divine law and things like that. We think in terms of essential qualities, and then we get right into the heart of whatever that deity is. Because then we recognize that deity is not some separate deity in some distinct pantheon from days gone by. The old gods are actually alive in now, and they are all one. There's only one, but that one God has many, many different facets, just like a rainbow is one light with many different colors, right? So, just in the same way that we do that in the Psalms, we do that with all of our magic. We break every goal that we have down into what is its essence. So let's start to think in terms of essence for a moment. Think about something that you are working on right now, something that you really, really want, especially if it's something to do with prosperity, since that's what this talk is all about. Think in terms of what it is that you want. Now, let's first of all, let's look at the form of what we want. Let's start with the form. Let's get that out of the way. Now, let's say it's a piece of clothing or a piece of furniture or something. I want this kind of table. I want it to be, I want it to be this color wood. I want it to be these dimensions because it's going to go in this part of my room. I like this brand. I like this thing. I like that. So get all that out of the way. This is what I want in form. Now, not much magic dust in there, but at least it's defined. So we've gotten definite about our goal. Now, let's get the magic dust going. Let's look behind the form and find out what the essence of that table is. What is the essence? What do we really want it for? Well, we want it because we want a place to eat. So we want to have a place where we can gather, where we can have community, have our family gathered. I want it because it's so beautiful. It makes me feel so rich and opulent. And there's so much beauty with this table. It's so pretty. And I want, and it lasts. I want it to become an heirloom so I can give it to my children or my nieces and nephews or whatever, so that I can hand it on. There's a lot of essence there, right? And when you start thinking in terms of essence, you just watch the sparks fly. You just watch the gold dust just kind of get moving, right? And so then you can say, you can start working in that form, but with the essence, and then it's easier for you to say this form or something even better. And because you know what's going to happen, right? You're either going to get that table in a wonderful, miraculous way, or another table that you didn't even know existed that puts that one to shame is going to show up. But because you were thinking about essence and you had done your homework, you have magic dust flowing. And so that magic dust will be able to go to wherever it needs to go to pull in the right item for you that is well beyond what you even knew was possible. Right? So instead of just being so focused on this form, we're saying, yes, this is the form I think I want. So I've done my homework. I've done my due diligence. This is the table I think I want. However, now I'm going to go in and get that substance flowing. I'm going to get that essence flowing. And the way I do that is to think in terms of what the qualities are, why I want this. And then when I say this or something better, it means something to me. And then it gives my whole spell permission to expand and grow and look all around the globe for the perfect thing that fulfills my essence, that's at least as good as the form that I've stated, but definitely something better would be just fine, right? So thinking in terms of essence takes your magic to a level that you have never even understood before. Now, some people say that they do this, and some do. Some people think that they do this, but they don't really take it far enough. They don't really lean into the essence of what they're trying to manifest. They sort of give lip service to it. But that's not magical. You need to get way under the hood and really, really go for it. And sometimes it takes some muscle to get down there, to get really down there and say, why do I want this thing? What is this thing bringing to me? What is it that I really, really want? I think I want a car. I think I want an umbrella. I think I want a computer, right? But what do I really want? Well, I want, maybe for the computer, I want to be able to be organized. I want to be able to create a business. I want to be able to have enough computing power that I can run all of the different programs that I know that are important to me for my business, those kinds of things. And so what I ultimately want is I want an upgrade in the way that I do my business so that it can be much more efficient, much quicker, and start to bring about the kinds of results that I know that I want in regards to expanding my customer base, maybe pulling in my income better, serving my customer base better, those kinds of things. So you're thinking in terms of what that computer is actually going to do for you, rather than just, well, I want 32 gigs of RAM, or I want a hard drive this size. That, of course, you've done that first, but you don't stop there. You do your due diligence on the product that you're looking for, or whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. Absolutely. But then you don't stop there. You got to go under the hood. You got to get into why you want it and what it really is going to do for you. And then when you say this or something better, it means something. It's not just a silly thing that you say. This or something better means something because you've thought about it. You've defined the something better. You've defined the essence of it. And you can see those sparks fly. So this week, let's take a look at some of our, like if you're working with a magic list or something like that, look at the items on that list, the things that you're wanting to manifest, the things that you're wanting to bring into your life. And let's start to find the substance that's underneath them, to find the essence of what those things are. See what you can do to make the magic fly. You want to feel like there's magic dust that's just poofing out of it. You want to just almost see the thing manifesting in a puff of smoke. And that puff of smoke is essence, essence, essence. All right, this has been great. I love working with you. I cannot wait to work with you again. And until that time, blessed be.